So good morning or good night, depending on where you are, and welcome to another interview of The Shield Doing a Couch. I'm your host, Hector, and today I'm joined by Maurizio Lacono, and you may know him because he is in bands like Katakklysm, Ex Deo, and now he has a new project called Invictus, which just released an album, Unstoppable, on October 21st. So, Mauricio, how are you, sir?
Good, good. How about yourself?
I'm good. How do you find the time to write so much music?
That's the big question. A lot of people ask me. To be honest, I've always been a workaholic, right? I always have to produce music because for me it's therapeutic, so I use it not only for pleasure but also I need it, So that's why Cataclysm has 15 albums or something like that.
Oh
And
yeah, I know.
Ex
Yeah, when I
Deo's
saw
got
that.
4 records. So the thing is this project was something that I had already the idea to do a long time ago, and I wanted to do something a bit different with my influences specifically in it, and that are part of my DNA of metal. All the stuff that made me who I am as far as influence is concerned. And the only problem was time because of between touring, and I also do management. I have a management company, and I work with bands, booking agency that I've helped establish in the United States. That's in Los Angeles, and that's a lot of things that I'm involved with. So the time is the problem. But then there was a small thing called the pandemic, and that that gave me some time, right? Because the Cataclysm record that we released, the last one, Unconquered, was
Mhm.
finished in it was finished already before it was done in 2019. So it came out and it was ready before the pandemic hit. And then that gave me still 2.5 years of a lot of time on my hands. And now the Ex Deo record was already halfway through done already and came out in 21. So it was one of those things where I had actually some time, and I was able to talk to the Cataclysm producer, Chris Clancy, who worked with Colin Richardson on the last Cataclysm record. He's a great singer and songwriter, used to be in Mutiny Within. He's a great writer, and we talked a lot about doing the project together, and we finally had time and we did it, and here we are.
Yeah, and I've listened to Ex Deo, I've listened to Cataclysm, and so with Invictus, I think, like you were saying, it seems like it's a passion project for you, and it's more of it's a very like go to the gym type of record,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
like like it's every so like I listen to the singles, but I listen to the whole record, and the whole record could have been singles because oh my, like you have a lot of like catchy choruses on all of the
Yes,
songs,
right.
like a lot of sing-alongs. Like when you were doing Invictus, what were you trying to do differently from your other two bands on this project?
So doing Invictus as a project was never the intention of doing Cataclysm 2.0 or Ex
Exactly.
Deo 2.0. Makes no sense. These are
Hmm.
projects that are too veteran already, and a lot of bands do that when they do something else to give the other band a break. They do something else, it sounds exactly like the other one, so you're not really giving it a break. Like you're really repeating yourself on a different banner, and I think that cheapens the original project. So you're gonna have a similarity a little bit because my voice is my voice. You know what I mean? It's gonna be a
Yeah,
little
you
bit.
cannot change it.
I can't change that too much. But we did add the clean vocals to it, which is something I've never done on any of the projects. And all the big choruses are coming with that, a lot
Yeah.
of them at least. And it's also an album that's easy listening, even if it's aggressive, and it's also complex with certain things. But it is a muscle type of record. There's a
Yeah,
lot
like
of yeah, there's a lot of aggressiveness behind it, but I think there's also some dramatic parts in it as well that are important that the melody bring out. Um, it's more accessible, I would say, than the other two projects that I've done, in the sense that it's more easy listening in a way. But the message is very hard, and
yeah,
the idea behind it is very hard,
yeah.
and it's about society in general. And I wrote it during the pandemic. I was not a happy boy during the pandemic, so
I'm sure.
the title really says it as well. And the title is funny because I was like, I don't care what's going on around the world, I'm not going to stop playing music. So Unstoppable is like, I will continue to write and create, I don't care what is around. That's one of the reasons why the title was there. But it's also because I picked it officially because a fan wrote that on my Facebook. He was like, Maurizio, I don't know how you do it. You're unstoppable, you know?
Yeah.
And he wrote me something like that for something that I was doing. And I was like, that's the title, you know? So I listen to my fans, you know, it's not just me coming up with ideas. It's a conglomerate of everybody, you know? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a good thing that you listen to the fans. And also, this is a joke right now, but it's a
Yeah.
good thing that David Draymond from Disturbed didn't watch the Unstoppable, because he would have taken that title, because you know they have Indestructible.
Yeah, yeah. It's true.
Like he would have taken like, no, that should have been a Disturbed song.
Yes, exactly. And this, I mean, you know, it is what it is. But I got lucky that I was able to pull it off before.
Yeah, before, yeah, because like every time they put out a song, it's like a verb, and it's like, or they're indestructible, unstoppable, something.
Yeah. You
That's
know,
like,
it's also probably for them. They probably have a lot of people also behind them as far as advisors of what is easy for people to remember,
yeah.
catchphrases and stuff like that. You know, I just saw the fan write that, and I thought it was a great compliment, and I said, I'll take the title. I'm gonna. He probably doesn't even know that's because of him. You know, and I think that's
Yeah,
what
that
makes
makes
it.
sense, because like, uh if you want something to be more like, you say easy listening, and when you say easy listening, I think of Air Supply.
Mm, right.
But you know, more accessible to people that are not exactly metalheads, because these songs are very anthemic, like throw your fist in the air. Like I could totally
Yeah,
hear them in a festival and be like, yeah, anthems like
absolutely. And then
Unstoppable, Get Up, Bleed Me Out. Because like, let's say like you can't chant a Dream Theater song title,
correct. The thing
because they're
is,
so long.
the song, the song Eagles, for example. When I
Hmm.
wrote the song and I wrote the chorus, I told Chris, I said, listen, I can't do this part the way I'm thinking about doing it, because I don't have the confidence you have within the vocal range. You know, he has a great vocal range. And I was like, can you sing this? And I sang it for him. And he was like, I can do it. And I put my touch in it. And the chemistry between me and him was very good. And sometimes when you do my type of vocals, doesn't
Hmm.
necessarily mean that somebody else's vocal is going to match. It can be
Yeah.
weird and sound weird and not fit, but it was so perfectly aligned on this project, because I think
No, yeah.
we both sing with emotions. And it was just, he understood my lyrics. He thought the lyrics hit him as well, which is very important. You can write something and then the other guy's like, I don't feel this shit, you know. So it's like,
Yeah.
so I think it's a combination of a lot of these different little things that I think is making this record very special, you know. We did battle on the first single, Exiled, a lot of algorithmic problems when this first music came out from this band, because the name Invictus is so big, you know, and it's so popular. There's the movie, there's tons of bands called Invictus. So for us, it was a very
Oh yeah.
big battle in the beginning
Isn't
to
there
get
like a
out.
closing line too?
The what? Sorry?
Isn't there like a closing line called Invictus too?
Probably.
Probably, yeah.
There's tons, and security companies, tons of things. So we had to kind of filter through all that to get to the point where you put the Invictus name and a band comes out like us. It was tons of different. There was mistakes made, and it was very difficult. We got discouraged in the beginning, but then it finally clicked through, and now it's going. Now it's on fire and it's moving, and people realize, well, this is a strong record, and they are getting behind it. So it's really good. It's good to see everything. The other two videos are over 150,000 each, already continuing to move in the right direction. So I think you know, in the end, a good music will make its way out no matter what, you know.
No, that's true. And I was gonna say, I love the blending of the harsh vocals with the clean vocals, like the dual harmonies is great. So it's like great job on that, because that makes the song stand out. Because sometimes, like you said, you could have like a harsh vocals and clean and maybe not gel well. But in
Yeah,
this, the songs on this album, my God, they complemented each other so well.
yeah,
Like it made the songs like stand out, at
cool.
least to me. And I know one of the singles, Get Up with the Gloves, like you need to sell that song to another Rocky movie.
Be great, right?
Yeah, it's about get up fighting, like
Yeah,
it
yeah,
should
yeah.
like
I mean,
retire Eye of the Tiger. It's too old.
we should try and give it to that or wrestling or whatever and try to push it through. Why not?
You
I mean, it's a
should,
good idea.
because it
It's an
has something
anthemic
about
song.
fighting
It's an
written
anthemic
all over
song.
it.
Yeah.
So when you were writing this album, how did the ideas flow? What inspired you and to the direction that you were taking on this project?
The world in general, to be honest with you, it's a personal project. The difference between this project and everything else that I do, so that I can make the idea so I can tell people how it is really with this project.
Hmm.
Cataclysm is an open book. It's social based. It's very emotional also, in its idea of what it is. Like in the sense that it's very real,
Yeah,
but it's open book, meaning you read the lyrics. I wrote it with an idea, but you can read it, and for you means something completely different. But for you, it means something important. Then that's your idea, and that's okay with me. Like that's the way it's meant to be, so that you can read it and affects everybody in a different way. Uh, Ex Deo obviously is historic, so everything that is
yeah,
in there is already preconceived and happened. So it's real, right? This is a project that's more personal to me, like because it's kind of a project that is my thoughts. Some of them are my old battle scars, from growing up and things that I've experienced. Songs in there that are more personal to me, and some other songs are about my perception of things that I see. I'm not a big fan of where society is heading in general. I'm not a political guy at all. I think both parties and both
they both suck.
sides suck. And because I believe 90% of the people, or 95%, are in the middle. They understand that both sides have arguments. And I think society works best when it's like that, and that's what they don't want. They want everybody completely pulled. And I have a big problem with rewarding people that fail. I'm a guy that's worked hard all my life. I believe in hard work. I believe in fighting for what you believe in and your drive. It's not because you give an effort to something that you deserve something in return. You get an effort.
Yeah,
You get something in return when you work hard and you believe in it and you push it all the way through. And now they're rewarding you just for trying. Trying is not good enough. Like in my school, it's not. And I don't think society moves forward with that mentality the right way.
yeah,
So this album is about that, is about standing up for what you believe in, and being strong in your convictions. I don't believe in cancel culture. I don't believe in any of this stuff. Everybody's afraid to say something, and I think that now the world is turning finally a point where they had enough. I think everybody's opinion must be acknowledged. If something doesn't agree with you, then ignore it. Walk away from it. You don't have to be in there and argue. Everybody has the right, and I think the majority will always win the argument of something when it means something for somebody. That's why it's called democracy. And this album, during the pandemic, I saw so many things. What I hated the most, honestly, and it pushed me also to do this album, is the fact that every single predator, in the sense of people that want to take advantage of a situation, were online, and everybody
hmm,
had no choice but to be online because they were in their house. They couldn't be outside. They couldn't be doing anything. It was either you're watching movies or you're online, and then all the crap and the shitty stuff started happening. Pulling people left and right, conspiracy theories, this, that. Aliens are about to arrive. All this stuff, just to get people even more crazy. We're already dealing with a crazy thing. So, in general, I know I'm going off subject, but the idea was, in my opinion, this drove me with some of the ideas behind this album, as what it is.
nice. And I like when you were saying that in our generation, is not trying wasn't good enough. And you know what, people, that there was a very wise puppet that said that. It was called Yoda.
No,
He
you're
said,
there.
there is only do, there is no try.
It's true. Amazing, amazing. Look, I have a really good story of my grandfather when he used to come see me play soccer. I was a pretty good soccer player in my young days. Now I'm too old and too big probably to play. But I remember when I used to play soccer, and we played the game. And this is so you understand my upbringing.
Yeah.
We lost the game 3-2, right? but I scored the 2 goals, and I was proud that I scored the 2 goals. And I went to my grandfather and I was like, see, I scored the 2 goals. He says, yes, but you lost. The team
Yeah.
lost, So he's like, you did good, but the team lost. So there's nothing to celebrate, And at the time I was shocked by that, but then I realized what he was trying to teach me is that, it's not an individual thing. It's not what you do, it's what the team does. And the team
Exactly.
must win. So you still lost, even if you scored 2 goals, even if you're doing a good job, you have to win, to get ahead, and I thought it was a great life lesson for me that time. And that's my philosophy. And I will never change that mentality. I also teach it to my kids, but
No.
not maybe as brutal as an old Italian guy telling you.
Yeah. I've been to Italy. It's a lovely country.
Yes, I love it too.
Yes, and I like it because like I speak Spanish, and if you speak slowly in Italian, we can understand
Yeah,
some
and the
words. Plus,
Italians like the Latin people a lot from
oh yes,
Latin America. They do. There's a lot of them moving also in Italy, from Colombia, from everywhere. Yeah.
yeah, no,
So,
it's great. So
yeah.
Mauricio, I know that you named the band Invictus, but it seems such of a passion project. Why didn't you name it your name, like having it be a solo album? Did you wanted it to have a band name?
First, it's too difficult to brand that band, Maurizio Lacono. It's too complicated. Already, I was told that my name is too complicated to be like, it's not like an easy name for everybody around the world to say, right? But that's who I am, so I will never change. But I
That
know that,
happens to me too.
yeah. So it's difficult to promote something like that as a band, and especially in metal, I could have called it Iacono or Iacono or whatever. I could have done that, but I think Invictus, because of this, is what a
Mhm.
lot of people have always known me with as a trademark. That I've done this tattoo a long time ago when I started getting really into the Roman stuff. They attached that to me, and I said, why not call it like that? The only mistake, like I said, and it's not really a mistake, is the algorithmic problems, that because we live in a society of that now. So, but in the end, like I said, I truly believe in the product, and I think that in the end, if it has to go somewhere, the people will bring it. I believe in the Slayer philosophy, I call it, because when Slayer came out, there was no radio that would play them. There would be nobody that would support it. It was too heavy, too satanic, too crazy. Word to mouth made Slayer what it is, and
That
that's
is
that's
true.
the only band, one of the only bands from that era that made it so big, just word to mouth.
Yeah, that's the word of mouth. Then obviously now anyone slow knows who Slayer is. So you're doing also the band management and the record label thing. Do you enjoy that part of managing other bands and passing your knowledge, being so many years in the music industry?
Yeah. So I accidentally fell into that. I was touring with a lot of bands that I saw were doing things wrong, and I saw them also suffer a lot, and some of them are really bad record deals. And I learned a lot because I worked very closely with a German guy called Carsten Ortebach in Germany, which used to manage Dimo Borgir, In Flames, and a lot of big bands. And I learned a lot from him. So it helped me, kind of put my project together of how to manage my own things. And I did well with it. With Katakklysm, we stayed above ground for a long time and get bigger and stronger. And a lot of bands saw that and they asked me for advice. And from there, it became a management thing. But fast forward to today, sometimes it's very difficult, especially because I have 9 bands under me, and sometimes it gets very frustrating, and as far as the stress is concerned, because you're always fighting. When you're fighting for other bands, you're fighting all the time. So that's not fighting, but you know what I mean. You're negotiating, arguing, like there's always something. So, and there's always
It's a
problems.
business at the end of the day.
It's a business, absolutely. And then right now it's the worst time. This is some of the hardest management time for us, because it's post-pandemic. It's a mess out there for touring, for bands. Tour buses are breaking down, just a lot of logistical problems everywhere. So we are very busy. We're super stretched out to try and get everybody situated. So I have Septic Flesh right now on tour, and Flesh Got Apocalypse on tour, Wolf Art on tours. Like a lot of my bands are or moving everywhere at the same
I've
time.
seen Flesh God Apocalypse live. They're amazing.
Yeah, it's
I
great.
saw them when I was living in Puerto Rico in a small club, and they killed it. And they came out, you know, with all their old like clothes from their time, and the paint, and they simply put out an amazing show.
Yeah, good guys. I just talked to Francesco 2 minutes ago before I called you. So he's
Nice.
on tour right now. Yeah. So yeah, great band. So like I said, I keep busy. Sometimes it's too much. I do have, you know, a family with kids and everything. So it's, you know, I try to manage as much as I can. I give here, I give there, you know.
Yeah. I have kids and a full-time job, so doing this is also like out of passion
Good,
for the
good.
love of
But it's good
music.
for the soul, right? It helps, and it's helping us also, and you're doing something, you know, for the industry, which is great. You know.
No, yeah, it's awesome. I get to talk to people like you,
Yeah, that's awesome.
like so yeah, no, it's an amazing, and it's great to I love going into what makes a song like yeah, I could tell the difference of the clean vocals and the harsh on this album, and how they complement each other. So in this new album, which one is the one that's your favorite, and why?
Um, it's very difficult to choose a song on this record. The ones I'm gonna like most are most likely not gonna be the most favorites from people. Because I can tell which ones people are starting to really like a lot, you know, and they're but I really like the first one. You Will Know Who I Am. I like the Keeping the Wolves at Bay, the last one, a lot. And Eagles is a very big one for me as well. And just because they are like the first one, especially, it's a punch in the face, and that's, you know,
Mhm.
you're starting the record with like
You need to start it like
you
that.
will know who I am. You know what I mean? It's like, so I really
It's
like that
almost like
track.
a threat.
Yes, it probably is. So that one, and I like the emotional aspect of the last song, which is you know, everybody promotes they want to be wolves, you know, because they think that that's the right way. I think the one that protects the flock is the most important one. The sheep wolf, the sheepdog, you know, the one that protects the flock from the wolf. It's because the wolf is just coming to get you, and that's it, you know. So I like that song for that idea behind it, you know, a lot.
Nice. So now that you have this album out, do you have plans to tour for it? More music under Invictus?
Well, again, it's a time thing. I am interested to try touring with this, to see maybe a couple of shows to test the waters and see where it goes. It all depends on the fans. If they want it, if they are dedicated to it, I will be more than happy to do
Yeah.
it. You know what I mean?
Just as long as the fans though don't ask for, we want a Cataclysm, Ex Deo, and Invictus tour together,
I can't
because
do it.
then
I would die.
you
Yeah,
would die. Yeah.
yeah. No, I can't make that. It's Ex Deo's. When I play that live, it's very demanding because the range of vocals is like so big. It's very narrative kind of thing. But yeah, I can't do it. I've had offers to do that, like, you know, big offers for me to do everything in one night. I'm like, not possible.
That's insane. Like
Nah, I have to
you would
give
have
a
to
hundred
play like
percent.
like a free 4 hour show.
I have to give 100% to everything I do. You know,
Yeah, no.
I did it once. Once I did in Czech Republic. I did one night. I think it was in Czech Republic in Germany. I did one night. I did Cataclysm, and then the other night was Ex Deo on a festival. You know, and that was super difficult to play two different things like that,
Yeah.
to change your mood, because Ex Deo is like being an actor. You know, and the Cataclysm is being kind of me on the stage, and it's completely different mentality, both bands. So that was tough. You know.
So would you say Invictus is the most vulnerable record that you put out,
It's the
and
most it's the
personable
most
and
close to
personal?
me. It's the closest to me. I have songs on Cataclysm that are very, very personal, like that I wrote because something happened. I was very pissed and I wrote them, you know. But this record is kind of like me revisiting old scars, and it's some of it is really my thought process, you know. It's much more personal in that sense, you know. you know.
Yeah. So let me show the artwork. I usually show the artwork here for
Mhm.
this is the artwork for the Unstoppable album.
Mhm.
So yeah, it looks pretty cool, with the hand. Who worked on this artwork?
So it's Chris Jones. He is a guy from Chicago. It's and works for FM Entertainment, and he's a friend of ours. And he had the idea of the concept with me, and I decided, hey, I love the idea of how he did it. It's kind of like you're punching through the sky, and then like you could see some of the debris coming out, and the bottom there's like this cool kind of like image of a skull in the arm, and that's I like that because it represents humanity. So it's
Yeah.
it's 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 about being strong and surviving.
No, it's a really cool cover. And you want to listen to something funny? I was saying that Unstoppable should be coined by by Disturbed, and they actually have a song called Unstoppable
Oh,
on
really?
on the new album. But you know
Wow,
what? Your album came first, so they.
I got it first. Make
Oh
sure
my
everybody
God!
knows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They have a new single, and yeah, they always have like one like divisive, Unstoppable. They have like one like
One words. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
one
yeah.
words. That's them.
Well, I did it first, so
You did it first, so they
I'm thinking like them, I guess.
you came first, so that album doesn't come out uh until next month. So yeah, you called dibs on that one.
Cool.
So yeah, no, Mauricio, I want to thank you, for taking some time out of you're a very busy man with all your bands, the management, to take
Yeah.
some time to talk with me about this the new music with Invictus. And it's a very anthemic album with like songs that like stay in your mind and like great for running, like doing like pumping each
Yeah.
other. Like they're very like uplifting songs. And
Cool.
I love the use of the clean vocals with the harsh because I know there's some people in metal that are against clean vocals, but what's wrong with singing?
There's nothing wrong with Metallica, right? So,
Yeah, because metal
like, I mean,
started with singing.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, of course. I mean, that's elitist, narrow-minded people that think that needs to be like that, or else you're a poser or whatever. I listen to everything, and I think music, it's all about the experience,
yeah. So
about
you
the
listen to everything. What would be something that would be on your car, on your playlist that would surprise fans?
Um, it's not going to be much pop. I'm not a pop guy at all. I do listen to some hip hop and stuff like that sometimes because I still find that it's urban music and we do
Yeah.
urban music too. So it's kind of connects in a way. It's two opposites. But I like William Whitmore lately. I don't know if you know him. He's like a bluegrass, like old school blues type of singer. Like I like a lot of blues and stuff like that too.
Yeah, well, the
I
rock and roll came out of the blues.
correct. So I like the roots of it. So I listen to a lot of that. I listen to some soundtracks also. Hans Zimmer soundtracks are very cool. They,
Oh
they
yeah.
bring you into the world. So Gates also, like there's a couple of really cool stuff that I listen to. I try to listen to everything. It gives me an influence to what I do.
Oh yeah, and if they do another Gladiator movie, you have songs from Ex Deo and some of your bands that they can gladly use for the.
It'd be great if they call, yeah.
Yeah, they call like, hey, let's use your songs for the album. But yeah,
Yeah,
that would be great because like you said, you have difference in bands like Ex Deo. Basically, it's like history class for people.
correct.
like like take some history in the Roman Empire, which it's I always liked history. Uh,
Yeah.
there's so many things that you can take out of it to not repeat past mistakes, and hopefully 100 years from now, if there's another pandemic, people will have learned something from this one, hopefully,
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. But
because
the people have a
it's
hard head.
yeah, but, well, the last like truly huge pandemic was in the 1920s, 1918,
Yeah, 18,
Spanish
19.
flu. And
Yeah.
100 years later, now we have the COVID. So the
Strange,
good
right?
thing is that 100 years from now, we're going to be dead. So uh,
Right.
someone else will worry about it, not us. Like we had enough.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Well, Mauricio, I can thank you enough for taking time out of your day to talk with me. And people, Invictus, the album Unstoppable is already out. You can stream it, you can buy it. Are there vinyls for it, or are
Yeah,
those
yeah.
coming
There's
later?
like on Monarch site, like you can go on our socials as well, and there's a smart link on there. You press on it, and they have like 4 or 5 different vinyls and long boxes and cassettes, CDs, everything.
Everything except an 8-track.
Right. I wouldn't be surprised it comes soon. You know.
That's what I was. You don't want to see surprises next year. That's the next big thing. Like, oh, bring back the 8-track.
I don't think there's any companies that build them. You know. So that's the
No,
thing.
no. I think the last time I saw an 8-track was in my grandfather's house, and it was the 80s. But
Imagine.
I remember, like if you put an 8-track, I don't even know how that thing works right now.
Yeah.
But I got back into, like, when I was growing up in the 90s, it was all about tapes and CDs. And now I've got into collecting vinyl. So I'm
Vinyl
like buying like all my favorite albums from back in the day
in
uh
vinyl.
in vinyl. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's crazy. It's
Yeah.
crazy how the world goes. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Mauricio, I hope you have a great rest of your day, and people, listen to Invictus. So until next time, this is Hector the Shield doing a couch, and I'll see you all right here on the couch. Thank you
Thank you.
and good